I've stayed quiet on this. Actually, I haven't. Who's kidding who? I didn't stay quiet. I told you the biggest concern we have outside of COVID, and equal if not bigger, are the injuries. I'm going to read you a list. Here I go. Ready? Matt Adams, Ozzie Albies, Mike Soroka, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Carlos Rodon, Nick Madrigal, Edwin Encarnacion, Tim Anderson, Mookie Betts, Rich Hill, Shohei Ohtani, Jake Odorizzi, Homer Bailey, Robinson Cano, Marcus Stroman, Robert Gazelman, Ahmad Rosario, Jeff McNeil, Jake Marisnick, Tommy Connolly, Miles Mikolas, Corey Kluber, Odor, Rougned Odor, Ken Giles. Okay, I read that list to you. That is a partial list. Ever heard of any of those players? I'll go slower. These are big-time players who have gotten hurt since spring training 2-0 ended and the season began so rapidly. I'm not counting Luis Severino, Tommy John before the first spring training. Noah Syndergaard, Tommy John before the first spring training. I'm not talking about those guys. That happens. I didn't even put Verlander. I didn't even get to the Astros, Coca. The Astros have 12 guys from Verlander to Ozuna and on down. The injuries are out of control. Why is it happening? And where are they? Tim Anderson won the batting title last year. He can't play right now. Nick Madrigal was just called up by the White Sox. He's now on the Major League IL, getting service time, not playing, hurt his shoulder. Edwin Encarnacion, free agent signing with the White Sox, tired shoulder. Max Scherzer, for the love of God, I had the perfect nothing personal pick of the day yesterday. Max Scherzer over the Mets. Rick Porcello stinks, pitched a great game. Max Scherzer, Cy Young, Mount Rushmore, one of the greatest of all time. Oh, ow, oh God, timeout. I need to pause. I just pulled my hammy. I got so excited. I think my right hammy just popped. That's what happened to Scherzer. And then the Nationals lost 3-1, even though Juan Soto was back from the false negative, false positive COVID list. So we lost the nothing personal pot of the day because of an injury to Max Scherzer, a hamstring. Mike Soroka of the Braves popped his Achilles. What's happening? How do we protect it from happening more? I have a funny story about injuries that's really not that funny, actually. I changed my mind. I have a terrible story about injuries. I would have to do a spreadsheet that would outline the amount of money that was being paid to players on the disabled list when I was running a team. And I would have a sheet, and it was called dead money. In the NFL, you've heard the concept dead cap space. I called it dead money because it was paying for players not to play. But not only do you have to pay the players who are not playing, you then have to pay the players who are playing instead of the players who are not playing because they're injured. There's nothing worse for your bottom line. There's nothing worse for your cash flow when you are paying players not to play. Trust me on this. It's one thing to pay players to play who stink, that you completely overpaid. There's no spreadsheet for that. There's just firing scouts. When that doesn't work, you fire development people. When that doesn't work, you fire the manager. When that doesn't work, you fire the general manager. When that doesn't work, you go back to trading the players and going back to firing the scouts. Of course, you never let it get to the president level unless you're the Pirates. But if it would never come to that for me, I'd fire everyone first before I would say that it was my fault. Now, if I ever did something that was definitely my fault, I'd say it was my fault, but then move on. But when other people do things and they admit that it's their fault, if it's too many, you say, listen, we're going to relieve you of your duties. We're going to find someone to do it better. So in the spreadsheet, you'd have players and you'd look at the types of injuries. Is it shoulder? Is it elbow? Is it oblique? Is it abductor? Is it calf? Is it, falling into a bore pit? Is it a household incident? Is it a cut finger from cutting fruit? I've seen it. Is it a hurt hand from hitting something? I've seen it. Is it a cut in your face from getting stabbed? Seen it. What haven't you seen, right? Seen it all. What we're seeing now in 2020, the year of COVID, are these players, and we're making a mockery of it in the media, and it's driving me up a wall. How great it is that Jack Flaherty moved his mattress up in his hotel. He swept away the bed bugs, and he took a ball and threw it at a mattress that was upright against the wall of a hotel. How great that the players are saying what they did during their time off because of an outbreak, how they stayed strong and they ran up and down the hallway, or they kept their arm loose by throwing a ball and a sock and a this and a that, and they would swing a towel. A towel? Come on. I'm frustrated. And the reason I'm frustrated is that the players are convincing themselves that they're game ready. But then the game starts, and they realize that being game ready does not involve anything that even remotely resembles what you can do to be hotel ready. And so the injury list keeps growing. No one's talking about it in Major League Baseball. The agents haven't started talking about it except for Scott Boras, and I give him credit. You know, that is part of what we do at Nothing Personal. I'm more than happy to give credit when credit is due, and I'm more than happy to withhold credit when it's worth withholding. Scott Boras has talked about injuries and his concern, and he is right. Now, for whatever reason he's saying it, it doesn't matter to me. I have no horse in the game, no dog in the hunt, except the quality of baseball decreases over time. And here's why. When you've got dead money, that impacts your budgeted payroll for that season. And when you don't hit your numbers, that impacts your budgeted payroll for next season. So if I've got less money to tell the owner that we have to spend, that impacts free agency. It impacts non-roster invites who are older players trying to get another shot. It impacts young players and forces us to do more service time manipulation than we'd normally even do. All of that happens when you have a combination of injuries and underperformance. It is very important to monitor this, because when baseball, as part of its memo that we talked about to start the show, part of it was explaining how games will be postponed so there's no confusion about players group texting and agreeing to play, which you and I both know is not accurate. Didn't happen. It was always MLB's job. Rules in place so a team can't vote not to go to a city. Can't happen. Can't give them the power. But in this memo, it talked about what baseball will do. And basically, if you've got enough healthy players and any of the positive tests have been contact traced, which, by the way, it makes me laugh. They've been contact traced and those players are asymptomatic, the show will go on. But when is there going to be more talk about injuries? Mark my words, it's coming.